to Student Branding TV. I'm Derek Merdinian.
And I'm Erica Zuko. Over the next few weeks, we're going to be talking a little bit about internships because both Derek and I are going to be beginning new internships starting tomorrow after both graduating from college. And we're going to talk about things like how to prepare for an internship, how to use your personal brand to succeed in that internship, and things like maybe how to turn that internship into a full-time job or just bring yourself to other opportunities through the internship. So first, we just want to talk a little bit about what our internships are. Derek, do you want to go first?
Sure. And this is one of the interesting things that you're going to get from having both Erica and I talk about this, because we're both interning at two totally different companies. Erica's doing a lot of very public work with some really cool news and journalism companies and stuff, and I'm going to be working with a startup company that's in stealth mode, which means that basically no information about it can be released. So, and that's very common in the real world, working for companies where you can't talk about what you do. So you'll get opportunities to hear about how you can grow your personal brand in a company where you can talk about the things you're doing, and in other cases where you can't exactly be as open about it. So it'll be interesting to see what sorts of things both Erica and I can and cannot do to grow our personal brands.
Right. So definitely two different aspects of that internship process. With my internship, I'm going to be working at NBC's Daily Connection, which is a show that's basically an hour's worth of programming for local affiliates that has some different types of lifestyle stories, typically repurposed from content that was on the Today Show, CNBC, all of NBC's different channels. So I'm going to be doing things like editing video, and later on in the summer, potentially shooting some packages and things like that. So Derek, what are some of the things that you've been doing? I know you've been busy with graduation this weekend and everything, but what have you been doing to get ready for your internship?
Sure. Some of the things that I've been doing in the weeks between finishing up with school and getting ready to dive into the internship really come down to researching the company and researching the industry. The people that have started this company are pretty well known in the Seattle area, and so if I read local business blogs, local startup blogs and whatnot, I can get some more information about the people that are working there. Furthermore, taking it a step out, I can read up on the actual industry that this startup is in. The name of the company is PhotoRocket, and they're involved with photo sharing technologies. And so I'm able to sort of read up on their competitors and read up on other types of companies in that area that might be getting funded. And because it's a startup company, it's also beneficial to be reading up on that whole ecosystem of businesses, both from the funding perspective, reading up on why companies are getting funded, why companies are not getting funded, and then of course there's the very specific information on what I myself am going to be doing for that company. Researching and continuing to read books and blogs and whatnot that can help me do my job better. What have you been working on, Erica?
Well, those same kinds of things to an extent, getting a handle on what's going to be happening with NBC Universal in the coming weeks, what's been happening in the past few months. But another thing is, and this doesn't apply just in journalism, it applies in a lot of other areas as well. A lot of the time when we're in school, we're really busy with a lot of different things, and we don't pay as much attention as we should to news or to current events or to things that are going on elsewhere in the world. So a big thing for me is I'm interning here in New York, and I need to make sure I know everything that's been happening in New York in the past few weeks. I need to know what's been happening in DC in the past few weeks, in the nation in the past few weeks, because when you're at an internship, you want to make sure that when you have those small talk conversations in the morning, you know what's going on and you can have those conversations intelligently with other adults in the room. It sounds like something pretty basic, but sometimes we let it fall to the wayside, so I've been catching up on my news and making sure that it's easy for me to get the morning's headlines each morning, setting it up with podcasts and that kind of thing. So that's been another thing that I've been doing.
Right. One of the really big things that I've been hearing about is these companies really want to be working with data-driven people. There's a lot of uncertainty in every aspect of business right now, and people that are making their decisions based on concrete data are seen to be much more credible. Coming into a company as a fresh out of college intern means that you might not be coming in with that much credibility, so it's very smart thing that Eric and I are kind of doing, and that everybody that's doing an internship should be doing, is really researching these areas so that you can sort of boost your own credibility and, lay that foundation to start showing these people that you are really worth more than you are if you want to take that internship and turn it into a job.
Definitely, and along with making sure that you're up to date on information and researching your company and knowing it well, one of the most important parts of being successful in your internship is making connections with the people that you're working with and forming relationships. So on that first day, you're going to be making a really important first impression. And we've talked about first impressions before on ways to make sure that you look professional, that you sound appropriate. But again, we really want to emphasize the importance of those types of things. So, for example, tomorrow is my first day on the internship, and I was told that the dress code is casual. Now, you really don't know how casual they're talking, so I'm planning on kind of dressing up. I'm wearing, like a business casual dress and bringing a blazer along with just in case. So, make sure that you look clean, look appropriate, look professional, and when you do go in to make those first relationships with people, make sure that you're very clear about who you are. Get any information that you can about who they are, take their cues, find out how they like to work with other people. Be very, very observant on those first few days so you can kind of figure out what the work culture is and you can fit in that environment.
A real big part of getting to know the company culture and whatnot on your first few days is remembering people's names. It sounds like a very small and stupid thing, but a lot of people are terrible at remembering people's names, and I'm one of those guilty people. And there's a bunch of different mnemonic devices and memory tricks you can use to try to remember people's names, and I encourage you to try to implement those because it means a lot when you can address somebody by their name, remember them, and start building that long-term relationship with the people you work with, as opposed to referring to them as the secretary or the IT guy or that guy or hey you kind of thing. Make a good first impression on people and try to remember their names.
If you have any other questions, or if you have input, or if you have suggestions about how people can succeed at their internships or their first jobs, feel free to send those to us at studentbrandingtv@gmail.com. And as always, you can find more tips, articles, and information about personal branding at studentbranding.com. We'll see you next week.